And now, you've done these two, and that actually sets you up to do about 2 or 3 more on into the assignment here. So you'll refer back to these. Now we're ready to look at payroll. And my guess is you will be able to do payroll without thinking too much about it, because it's something that could relate to. We like to know how our checks are made out. So number 4, they're talking about somebody is paid $720 for a 40-hour week and time and a half for hours above 40. They want you to compute their gross pay for 52 hours during the first week of February. And then they go on and they talk about taking out withholding at 20%. And they also talk about using an 8% FICA tax rate and carry the amounts to the nearest cent. So, what do we have here? So we have straight time pay for 40 hours and overtime pay for 12 hours. So straight time pay for 40 hours is how much? $720, right? So how much does he or she get paid for overtime pay? Well, 12 hours times, how much is he getting paid an hour here? If I divide 720 by 40, what do I come up with? I may have to get a calculator out. My brain hurts. So 720 divided by 40 gets paid $18 an hour. So if I take 12 times 18 times 1.5, that's going to give me their overtime here. And that should come up to $324. So the total pay, can you see how this is working out, is $1,044. And then they ask you to figure out the taxes. So they make 1044. They pay 20% on that. So if I multiply 20% times the 1044, I come up with 208.80 cents. Their FICA, right here, is 8% of that 144, and that comes up with 83.52. So they have deductions here of 292.32, and that will give them a take-home pay of $751.68. So you can see this is how you figure payroll. The next one is very similar, only this time they've added FICA, state unemployment, federal unemployment, retirement plan, health insurance. Down here, just all of the normal deductions you would find. So now you're going to look at the other side. These are actually employer taxes. And these are usually deductions that, well, the FICA is matched by the employee. But the employer has to pay employer taxes, and that amounts to matching of FICA. We have unemployment taxes they'd have to pay. They contribute to a retirement plan, a health insurance, disability insurance. So this becomes a total expense of the employer. And that's what you're figuring here. This one is employee taxes. This is employer. And those are just straight up calculations. And we look at 6. 6 is asking, let me turn the page. You're earning a monthly salary. There's no overtime pay. And it just talks about what your taxes are your withholding tax, federal, your payroll taxes, and your retirement plan. So they want you to figure out their take-home pay. So all you have to do is put your gross pay in here, which is $6,800, and do your calculations from there. You should do fairly well on that. Again, this is your starting point, and then here are your employer taxes, and here's a payroll with a salary rather than the overtime pay. So that kind of covers the payroll that you're going to be doing. You'll be doing a couple of these on back, so there's nothing tricky about them. It's just straight out journalizing. The trick is to remember the journal names, and I've given most of those to you. So we'll wrap this one up and go